hindi pa. Wait. Ang tagal na. Hindi pa natanggal. Good thing hindi natanggal si Faiza. So now present my lesson. Kindly check if I will now share my screen. Okay, is my screen visible? So my screen is now visible. I you don't have to talk. You can actually use our chat. You can use our chat box if you want. No. So for example, Faiza is actually responding with the use of our chat box. Okay. So we'll session. Again, ang gagawin natin dito for the graphical representation of scores and distribution, frequency distribution, you will encounter another computations of FTT. Meron lang tayong konting dinagdag. Ito yung ilalapat natin yung konsepto ng graphical representation. No? So we will now use graphical representation to, again, of course, yeah, coming from the name, to represent uh, our data and then to give understanding about our data na nilagay natin sa ating table. Okay? Scores expressed in frequency distribution full and easier to interpret when they are graphed, and that is really true. When you will enroll in a CPE198 or a thesis proposal, and even sa thesis writing na ninyo, no, you will bring different graphical representations wherein kung ano yung nasa table natin, hindi naman siya kailangan talaga i-replace, but all the data inside our table will be converted into a graph, no, in a graphical representation. Well, according to why? Because according to the first bullet, sinabi niya dito that our frequency distribution daw ay magiging meaningful, at the same time easier to understand if we are to convert it into graphical representation or into graph. Kung titingnan naman natin talaga, no, actually very understandable siya compared sa naka-table. Kung naka-tabular lang, ang daming columns na meron pa tayong frequency, may class marks pa, may class boundaries, may cumulative frequency, may relative frequency pa, no? Ang dami. Hindi talaga natin maiintindihan if we're going to look at the table, no? If are to convert it in a graphical representation, mas maiintindihan natin. At the same time, mas makikita natin yung meaning of the data, no? Like for example, population at saka like for example, yung sa mga COVID-19 cases, maraming makita. Pero how to interpret it easier, how to understand it easier through the use of graphs. So that is why kung titingnan nyo talaga yung mga balita, hindi talaga mawawala yung tinatawag natin na graph, especially trends, no? Nakikita natin that in the month of blah blah blah, mas mataas yung cases, bumaba sa ganitong banda and so on. And that is actually graphical representation. At saka mas madaling maintindihan. Tama ba? Mas madaling maintindihan kung naka-graph? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is it true?
Yes,
Agree, sir.
sir.
So mas madali, no? If siguro kung yung teacher ninyo, if he or she will ask how to interpret this one, better if it is in graph form, no? Not in tabular form, because kung sa tabular form pa na, siguro isa-isa ho rin yung discuss, no? First column, if we're going to look at the value of x, blah, 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 so hindi matatapos. But in your graphical representation, mas madali. Okay. And then, of course, you will appreciate more kung ano talaga yung nasa laman ng ating frequency distribution or in a tabular form. Histogram. Okay, so since we're talking about graphical representations here, we will be encountering the term histogram and frequency polygon. We will be using the two here. Sir, marami pa bang iba or dalawa lang yan? Marami pa. But for this for this purpose and for me to give you the idea on the importance and then the functionality of graphical representations, gagamit muna tayo dito ng dalawa. Okay? So limited lang muna tayo dito sa dalawa. So the first one is histogram. Ang histogram daw natin, according to the description, histogram consists of a set of rectangles having bases on the horizontal axis which centers at the class marks. Again, ang ibig sabihin daw, yung histogram daw natin ay para meron siyang set of rectangles. Kindly imagine bar graph. Nakakita na ba lahat ng bar graph?
Yes, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Yes, sir.
Di ba yung bar graph, meron siyang rectangular form, elongated pa yung, elongated siya na form. So, similar with it, yun din yung appearance ng histogram natin. Siguro lang sa mga bar graph natin, siguro marami din tayong bar graph na nasa gilid yung bar, no, nakahiga yung bar, meron naman yung nakatayo, no? So for histogram, probably we will use the nakatayo part, no, naka-vertical na rectangle. And then please take note that having bases on the horizontal axis, no? Pag sinasabing horizontal axis, sorry, horizontal para no? Pa straight diri dapita kana siya. Horizontal, left to right, horizontal. Then histogram is best used for graphical representation of discrete data. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng discrete data? Ano ba yung discrete? Qualitative or quantitative? Taas kamay.
Quantitative po.
Quantitative
Okay,
po, sir.
quantitative.
Discrete quantitative, sir.
Okay. So ano bang ibig sabihin ng discrete? Ano pala yung discrete?
Yung
It's a result of counting, sir.
hindi po yung naka-count po. Count.
So ang discrete is counting.
Yes,
Counting,
sir.
tama? Okay, so
Opo,
yung
sir.
1, 2, 3, ilan yung libro nasa loob ng bag? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is correct, no? That is actually mentioned by Elmer and then Famine. Famine, Di Makuta? Si Di Makuta ba ito?
Yes, sir.
Okay, si Di Makuta at saka Baredo, no? Na according to them, discrete daw is actually a result of counting and that is true. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yung histogram daw natin, children, this is best used in discrete data or non-continuous data. So pag ito natin, mas pipiliin natin yung histogram. Okay? But anyway, sa ating activity sheet naman, ay ibibigay ko naman sa inyo kung ano talaga yung gagamiting data. So hindi ko na kayo pa ano pa yan, bibigyan talaga ng napakabonggang burden, no? So ilalagay ko doon talaga kung ano yung gagamiting value and then yon. Thank you. Next, we have frequency polygon is constructed by plotting the class marks. I believe you are familiar now with the term class marks, no? Please take note that class mark is also known as midpoint. Again,
Yes, sir.
class mark. Very good, no? May napag remember, very good children. So when we say class marks, we call it midpoint at the same time. Again, kailangan nating malaman yan kasi sa ibang resources or sa ibang midpoint ginamit na termino, hindi class marks. Okay. So according to here daw, constructed by plotting the class marks against the class frequencies. So ang pinag-aaway nito ngayon is between the value of your class marks and then the value of your class frequencies. Sir, saan doon, sir? So, ito yung example nito. Okay? Ito. So ang sa frequency polygon, ito daw yung gagamitin. Ito yung class mark. Class mark is also known as midpoint or it is also known as X sub M. Nakita yung screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Opo, sir.
Okay. So, mean to say, ang frequency polygon pala natin is between or against class mark. Again, sorry. Class mark versus class frequency. Nara. Kana sila. Okay? So, i-plot lang nato na siya. I believe, kabalo pud kaayo ta on saan pag-plot, no? Kasi, na-encounter natin yan during our senior high school year, no? Or even sa modern mathematics kung meron man yan. But really in senior high. Especially for those people who from STEM, perhaps in ABM, no? And even in the other tracks naman, they also have statistics na subject. No? Okay. And then, since yung histogram natin is best for discrete data, yung frequency polygon naman natin, children, is best for representing continuous data. Di ba yung continuous data natin, ito yung results of weighing or computing. Okay. Yung scores of the students in a given test, that is an example of computing. No? Ang scores, gi-add man mo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on. So scores of nakadepende ang scores diri ha because there are times children dapat titingnan natin yung pagkagamit ng salitang score kasi merong tsansa na yung score ay magiging discrete din. No, yung gi-count lang natin na 1 2 3 4 magiging continuous yung score kung sets of yung test natin meron siyang different sets and then gi-add siya. So score din yon pero gi-compute mo kasi gi-add mo yan. Therefore, that is continuous. So please take note of that. Please be careful on the context no, kung paano ginamit yung salitang score. Okay? Again, histogram is best for discrete data. On the other hand, frequency polygon is best for continuous data. I hope that is very clear. Klaro ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Klaro na klaro. Yes, klaro yung gamit niya, no? Kailangan lang nating obserbahan kung ano yung type ng data kung anong meron yung binigay ng teacher or ng problem. Basahin mabuti because doon natin makikita kung discrete ba or continuous ba yung data. And that's the time that you have to decide kung ano yung gagamiting graphical representation. Okay, question so far. Questions? None?
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes, Elmer.
About ba sa
May question.
pag-insert ng or how to create the histogram bitaw, sir, in the Microsoft Word Office, sir? Because, kay,
Maghimo.
ang meron kasi dito sa Microsoft Word, sir, di ba, mga line graph lang, tapos mga
Bar graph.
chart.
Ay, bar graph.
I don't know about
Yes.
bar graph.
Okay. Yes, you can use bar graph, my dear. Children, for those who have laptops here, no, since I will be giving you activity naman about this one, for students who will be using their laptops or in cell phone, for example, kung ano ba, all you have to use is, wala talaga kayo, technically, you cannot find histogram na term sa chart, no? Ang gagamitin ninyo would be the term bar graph. May nakikita kang bar graph dyan, Elmer? Naka-open kayo?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Have you?
Sir.
Just make sure, children, na yung gagamitin ninyong bar graph ay wag yung bar graph na yung design ay yung bar ay wag yung bar na nakahiga. Wag yung bar na nakahiga ha. Ang gagamitin ninyong bar ay yung nakatayo para naman to represent really histogram. Sir, dapat ba talaga yung histogram nakatayo? Not really naman, but then again, we will just follow the very basic physical appearance of histogram, which is nakatayo yung bar.
Yes, sir.
Nakuha, children?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Elmer, okay?
Nakahiga man tanan diri ang sample, sir.
Nakahiga tanan? Sir,
Yes,
pwede
sir.
po ba na i-draw nila yung... Yes! Kung nakahiga, kung yun tayo makita tanan, kung nakahiga, especially no, katong, unsa na yung Microsoft Office? Elmer? 365?
10, sir, tapos 7, sir.
2010. Sige, anyway, para di burden ana, kung ano yung available lang
Notebook
sa bar
lang man,
graph,
sir.
kung nakahiga yung bar, okay lang. Kung nakahiga yung bar, okay, we will still use that. We'll use that. Anyway, presentation. Ang dapat lang nating malaman, children, if nakahiga yung bar, dapat alam natin kung saan yung x-axis at saka y-axis. Statement po na ko na siya sa problem para hindi na siya magaanong complicated. Insist niyan sa activity sheet that axis will be the value of blah blah blah, the y-axis will be the value of blah blah blah. And then so sa mga draw, yes, sa mga magdo-draw okay lang i-draw siya. Pwede kayo ang pag-draw ninyo the same, this one. By the way, ito yung ipapakita ko palang example, no? Okay, no? yung sinabi ni Elmer, yung bar graph na available sa kanya is yung okay. If you find a bar like this one, okay, you can have it. Pero kung wala talaga, okay, use the other one. Okay? Sa mga mag-draw, problema sa mga mag-draw, no? Kasi ito yung gagawin natin. Okay. Sir, ano po yung nasa value ng ating, what you call this, sa ating histogram? Okay, nakikita ba yung screen, children?
Opo, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
By the way,
yes,
ito
sir.
yung
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
ito
sir.
yung Histogram natin ha. Ito yung Histogram natin. Titingnan ninyo itong bar na ito. This is our rectangular bar, no? Rectangular 'yan. And then sir, ano po itong 0.05? Okay. Itong 59, kung titingnan ninyo edge to edge, meron talagang number, no? Edge to edge. And then yung nasa gitna ay tinatawag natin na class mark. Okay. Class mark din yung tinatawag natin. Okay, merong class mark dyan, pwede yung kunan yung class mark ng 15 to 61, no? Class mark yan. Okay. So ibig sabihin sa height ng ganito, 59.61, ang relative frequency niya is nandito sa 0.05. Anyway, alam niyo yan, makikita niyo naman, no? Again, ipapakita ko sa inyo i-stipulate yun sa activity kung ano yung gagamitin dito na value and then kung ano yung gagamitin dito na value. Okay? So ito yung mukha ng ating histogram. Kung titingnan niyo talaga siya, the same talaga siya ng bar graph, no? Hindi ko pa lang na-check if this is really another form of bar graph or whatsoever. Okay? But then again, meron siyang difference sa bar graph when it comes to data. Okay? Ayan. Okay? And then the other one is our frequency polygon. Kung titingnan mo yung histogram natin, children, at saka frequency polygon, yung frequency polygon, parang nilagyan lang natin ng linya dito, parang ginanyan lang. Okay? Parang ginanyan lang siya dito. Para pag mawala yung rectangular bars there, ang matira ay yung linya. No? Parang ganyan. Okay? Pero,
Parang connecting point.
actually, yes, connected. Para siyang, kung titingnan nyo naman sa mga Microsoft Office ninyo, kung Microsoft Word yung gagamitin nyo, parang din siyang line graph. No? Napaka-easy lang nito, children. Bakit? All you have to do is to connect the dots. Okay. For example, for this problem sa isang section na may nagtanong, Sir, bakit po yung dots, sir, ng 44.5 ay nakakonekta po sa 0? May chance po talaga, sir, na 0 po talaga yung 44.5. Yes, meron. No? Ang ibig sabihin siguro nito, children, di ba scores yung nasa baba, no? Meron tayong score na 44.5, 54.5, by 10 ito, by 10. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin nito, walang nakakuha ng score na 44.5. Kaya 0 siya nakalagay. Nakuha?
Yes,
Yes,
sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
very
Yes,
good, no?
sir.
Sa 44.5 daw, alam na alam natin to kasi ginagawa natin to sa algebra, di ba? Ang dami kayang pagganito sa algebra. Okay? So, parang you have to, ano yung lesson na yun? Para siyang quadratic equation, somewhat like that, no? So you have to point here, no? And so on. Okay? So that is our frequency polygon. And then, according to here, this is between scores and then frequency. Rin sa sinabi ko kanina, I will stipulate, it will be stipulated sa activity kung ano yung gagamiting value sa ating x-axis. Ito yung x-axis. At saka ano yung gagamiting value for y-axis. No? Ilalagay ko yan sa activity sheet natin. Para ang gagawin lang ninyo ay mag-plug in lang. Okay. The challenging part here, children, is dapat tama yung di-compute na value na nasa loob ng ating table. Kasi pag mali yung mga value na nasa loob ng ating frequency distribution table, mali din yung graph na magagawa natin. Okay? Question so far.
None so far.
Sir, okay. Thank you, Sosi. Marami pang question. Is it okay? Is it okay po, sir, na nilagay graph ko po frequency at scores? Meron na ba tayong activity for this one?
Yes po sir, yung
The first
activity po na
activity,
binigay
sir.
niyo.
First activity? As
Yes
in?
po, may
Oh my God.
nasa instruction
You,
niyo po.
Ingon lang ka na mag-graph. Graphical representation.
Sadali lang. Sadali lang, children, ha? Hello.
Pero yung akin po sa hindi
Ano
po
yung,
mag-graph.
ano yung na-send ko sa inyo? PDF, no? At saka, ano? Word, tama?
PDF at Word, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes po,
Apa,
sir.
singkamas. Worksheet 1, frequency distribution. Tingnan ka muna, ha? Kasi supposedly, di ba ang nakalagay worksheet 1, no?
Yes, sir.
Opo, sir.
Nabalbal na yun, eh. I'm sa sandali lang. CPE106 easy. For a while children. Kasi pag ganun, hindi ko pa siya natanggal. Ayun. Hindi ko natanggal yung term na construct a graphical representation.
Yes, sir.
Wala, sir.
Yes po,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Pero hindi kayo nagtaka kung ano yung graph na gagamitin?
Yes po, sir.
Or
Hindi
binasin
po.
niyo doon sa...
Nag-search po.
Nagtaka, sir.
Kami, sir, na yung ginagamit dyan is histogram.
Actually, actually, meron pa karugtong na instruction. Akala ko natanggal ko na lahat na part nito. Sige, anyway, kung nakagawa kayo ng graph nito, walang problema. Walang problema. Because the next activity will to give you activity na, what do you mean by this? Activity na naman na you will be doing the same thing, the same thing naman, pero parang iba yung data. And then, meron na talagang instruction for graphical representation. I'm so sorry, hindi ko talaga natanggal itong graphical representation. But anyway, kung meron mang nag-try ng graph, sige, let's have that. Okay? Sige. Anyway, let's continue. Okay, so this one, okay. So meaning to say sa mga nagtanong kung okay lang ba yun, I would consider it kasi hindi talaga yun. Amirol, no, Faiza? Kasi tiningnan namin sa modules po na okay. No, yung iba talaga nag way, no? Para masagutan. That's nice. Okay. That's nice. But anyway, ninyo, like for example, si Faiza, according to her, is it okay po sir na nilagay ko sa graph ko po ay ang frequency at score po. But in a way, hindi ko siya i-check naman. Don't worry. So hindi siya included sa total scores ninyo. Okay. So I'm so sorry children, hindi ko siya nalagay. Okay. Hindi ko siya natanggal. Okay. But the next one, yung totoo na talaga yung activity na talaga siyang instruction for graphical representation. Okay? Sige. Let's continue. So far, walang tanong. Again, kung ano yung value gagamitin, ilalagay ko yan siya sa activity. No? Kung ano yung nasa x-axis, kung ano yung nasa y-axis. Ilalagay ko sa activity sheet. Para naman pag gagawin niyo siya, hindi siya complicated sa inyo. All you have to do is to place or to implement the values and then you graph. Okay. Claro, children?
Yes, sir.
Yes po,
Okay.
sir.
Sige. Okay, so our last topic for this session would be this one, no? a very specific one. Iisa-isahin talaga natin to para mas ma-digest, no? Kung alam ko naman na all of the things you cannot actually digest, especially it's Ramadan. But then again, I will really try our best kasi nga nandito na tayo. Okay, we still have to try for a while, children, for a while. Tumawag. Hello, ma'am. Asa, Sadali lang ha. I will for a while, children, for a while. Mute ko muna.
Hello sa mga groupmates ko. Di ba na may meeting tayo? Saumay, where are you? Hello.
Hi. Oh,Mer.
1 p.m. yung schedule natin na meet up, di ba?
Elmer, saan pala tayo mag-base ng topic natin?
Hindi ko alam. Hindi ko yun alam. Kasi wala pa mang nabigay si sir na topic, di ba? Mag-ask tayo ngayon after the discussion.
Kaya nga,
Yung
binigyan
sa
lang
course
guys yung
outline natin.
Sa course outline,
Oo. May week
bali tayo
1 dun,
na
mga ganun.
Okay, so I'm back. Sige. Let's continue and then we will end the session, no? Sige, para meron kayong pwede pang magawa. Okay, so we will be having describing group performance. There are two major concepts in describing the assessed performance of the group. We have measures of central tendency and measures of variability. Ang susunod na mga topic na ito ay hindi naman talaga siya complicated but a little bit confusing, no? The reason why I really love statistics because for me it is very easy compared to trigonometry and algebra. But the problem in statistics, sa dami kasi at saka ang taas ng formula, nakakalito siya. But for us here, iisa-isahin lang natin and then let's try to apply them para naman meron tayong experience sa kanila. Okay? For this reason, no, if you will be a teacher someday, no, in the future, ang gagawin ninyo will be, ang sabi ko nga, no, sa mga concept sa CPE 105 ninyo, ang concept natin ay gusto nating malaman talaga kung ano yung performance ng estudyante, no? Kaya gumagawa tayo ng different types of tests, different kinds of tests. Ginagawa natin lahat para malaman kung ano yung performance ng tag-iisang estudyante natin sa klase. But right after gathering the individual scores and performance of the students, it is now the time that we have to look for the performance of the whole group. Sir, kailangan pa ba nating malaman yan? Alam naman natin uh, kung ano yung score ni Hanifa, kung ano na yung score ni Aisa, ni Alaika, ni Apepa. Alam naman natin yung mga scores nila, sir. Bakit kailangan pa nating kunin ang performance ng buong grupo? Because that is actually part of the system, no? That kasi nga, I do not know kung meron kayong kilalang teacher or meron kayong kamag-anak na teacher or mama ba ninyo or papa ba ninyo yung teacher, you would notice that they will be scored. Actually, kanato ang mga teachers, no, kay meron silang tinatawag na assessment. Parang binibigyan lang sila ng rating ng kanilang superior based on the performance of the teacher. Sir, saan ba natin malalaman yung performance ng teacher? Sa performance ng buong klase. Okay? Kaya kukunin ni teacher yung individual performance ng estudyante. I-judge yan. Yung ginamit ko yung judge for the sake of this discussion. I-judge yan kung based sa score sa mga estudyante. And then right after that, kukunin yung buong performance ng buong klase. Okay. Dito na natin malalaman, children, why we can say that University of the Philippines is the best university in the Philippines. why MSU is part of the best universities in the Philippines, no? Kasi nga meron tayong individual na performance, kinuha ang group performance na naman. Okay? So that is why we actually have here the two major concepts in describing the assessed performance of the group. The first one is measures of central tendency, and the other one is measures of variability. Okay. Yung measures of central tendency natin, children, they are used to determine the average score of a group. Average score, no? Yung sinasabi nating middle score. No? Na, di ba ang concept ng average, i-add lahat ng score or i-add lahat ng numbers, i-divide kung kunin natin yung average ng pag mag-judge tayo ng essay writing, for example, kunin natin yung average score. So, i-add lahat ng score divided by kung ilan yung nag-judge or kung ilan yung judges. Okay? So, that is our central tendency. So, gusto nating malaman kung ano yung average score of the group. No? And then the other one is measures of variability, indicate the spread of scores in the group. Dito naman, na ang titingnan naman natin dito kung gaano ba kalayo yung mga scores. Gaano ba kalapit yung mga scores natin. Like for example, nakuha na natin yung value natin ng average score. Gusto naman nating tingnan kung gaano ba kalayo or kalapit yung mga scores ng estudyante. So for example, merong score na 1/20. Merong score din na 19/20. May 20/20, meron ding 2/20. Merong 3/20, meron din tayong 17/20. Merong tayong 10/20. If we're going to look at, the numbers are far from each other. Okay? Ang layo ng 20 at saka 1, ng blah blah blah, no? So, I mean to say, grabe yung spread ng scores. So, ibig sabihin na, okay, ito lang pala yung scores sa mga estudyante. Na iba yung interpretation ng ganyang variability. Iba din yung interpretation if you have very near kayo ng mga scores. Like for example, yung scores ng mga estudyante siguro sa section 1 ay merong 20/20, 19/20, 18/20, 17/20, 18/20. Naglalaro lang sa 17, 18, 19, 20. If we're going to look at the numbers, they are very near from each other. No? Therefore, iba yung interpretation naman when it comes to variability. So, kailangan natin yung malaman they have their own interpretation. And of course, it entails the performance of dito natin malalaman na okay, ito pala yung performance ng section ano ba yan? Yung section CC. Ito pala yung performance ng section BB. Okay? Next. We will focus first sa measure of central tendency because kung titingnan niyo yung handout natin, children, nako, ang sobrang taas, ang daming calculations. Right after this chapter, another calculations na naman. So, please bear with me. Describes a set of scores with a single number that describes the performance of the group. Ang ibig sabihin ng central tendency daw, it describes a particular single number describes the performance of the group. Like for example, kung 20 items, gi-add nato tanang score sa mga estudyante sa section CC, the average score is 15. Okay? Ibig sabihin, the scores kay nag-fall sa 15. Malapit sa 15. Okay? That's the average score. No? And then, a single value, so ito yung 15, a single value that is used to describe the center of the data. Again, ito yung sinabi ko kanina that your single number is actually the center of the data. Muna maingon ka nga tunga-tunga na in the middle. No? Okay. Next, there are three commonly used measures of central tendency. The first one is mean, second median, and then of course the third is mode. Iisa-isahin natin because each of these meron itong dalawang subtopics, no? Tinatawag na ungrouped at saka grouped data. So iba yung formula if meron tayong ungrouped data at saka grouped data. So for this morning, we will discuss mean, specifically ungrouped data. Okay. Mean, mean is also referred as the arithmetic average. Again, please take note of the term arithmetic average because some examinations, instead of using the word mean, they will use arithmetic average. Okay, and then we have here two formulas, children. The first one is for population mean, and the second one is for the sample mean. Sir, paano po natin malalaman, sir, if that is population mean or sample mean? Try to look at this one, okay? And then try to look at our N here in capital letter. Therefore, this is population. For sample mean, small letter. Then X bar, kung sample mean. Okay? So kung titingnan natin, summation of X, ibig sabihin, add lahat ng X divided by N. Meaning to say, kung ilan yung X's na yan, dito i-divide. Okay. And then of course, the same with sample mean. Again, dapat nating pagtuunang pansin kung ano yung variable na gagamitin if it is capital or not, because that could actually mean a lot, no? Because that is population and sample mean. Next. Okay, so we will be having the ungrouped data. So ano po ibig sabihin ng ungrouped data? Ang ibig sabihin ng ungrouped data ay children ay literal, no? Hindi siya hindi siya sorry, hindi siya nakalagay ata sa FDT. No? Parang hindi siya naka-FDT. So ano po ibig sabihin ng FDT? Yung naka-frequency distribution table. Or sir, ano pong clue kung magiging ungroup at saka group siya? Tingnan lang talaga yung if the data is well arranged, no, naka-arrange talaga yung data, meron tayong class marks, blah, 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 that is grouped data. Pag wala, that is ungrouped. Okay? Two formulas here. We have x bar is equal to summation of x, no, over n, the typical one. The other one is the summation over n. Okay, meaning to say the summation of the product of frequency and then of course x divided by n. Okay, so let's try to look at an example, children. I hope you'll follow. Example 1. Scores of 15 students in Mathematics 1 quiz consists of 25 items. The highest score is 25 and the lowest score is 10. Here are the scores: 25, 20, 18, 18, 17, 15, 15, 15, duha ka 14, 13, duha ka 12, duha ka 10. Kung titingnan niyo yung mga numbers, children, they are arranged in decreasing order. Okay? Sir, dapat ba talaga naka-arrange? Yes, because you can easily identify kung ano yung highest score and the lowest score. So dapat po talaga decreasing, hindi naman kailangan, no? Basta kayo naka-arrange lang na siya. I-arrange lang ta ng numbers para maklaro natin kung ano yung kukunin talaga nating data. Okay? And then find the mean in the following scores. So yung scores natin, ayan, therefore, scores is denoted as X. Okay? And then right after that, children, we have to identify the summation of X. So our summation of X will be 25 plus 20 plus 18 plus 18 plus 17 plus 15, 15, 15 plus 14, 14 plus 13 plus 12 plus 12 plus 10. That is 220. And small letter n here, therefore this is sample. So 15 students for a while. Okay? So again, yung 15 natin children, hindi yung 25 items but ilang estudyante, 15 students. Okay? Plug in natin yung value sa ating formula. Summation of x, that is 228 divided by 15. Therefore, the answer is 15.2. So kindly recalculate children na baka mali itong nasagot ko dito. So kindly recalculate lang. Okay.
Tama po, sir.
15.2 ang sagot. Okay.
Yes, sir.
That is 15.2 children, 15.2. Now, right after getting in every score, nakadepende yan ano kung hiningi ko yan sa ating activity sheet na kailangan siya interpret. If kailangan siya interpret, kailangan talaga yan. So how to interpret the number of 15.2? Sir, bakit po natin kailangan interpret? Kailangan natin i-practice ito children because by the time you will be writing your thesis, you will be interpreting results. No? And this is how we do it. So according to the value, the average performance of 15 students who participated in a mathematics quiz consisting of 25 items is 15.2. No? The average performance of 15 students is 15.2. The implication of this is that, no, ang implication daw nito would be lahat ng mga estudyante nakakuha ng scores below 15.2, those are the students who did not perform well in the said examination. Pero students who got scores higher than 15.2, 15.2 performed well in the examination compared to the performance of the whole group. Okay? So again, in another way around, lahat ng mga estudyante na nakakuha ng 15 above, those are the students who performed well sa exam or sa quiz. Yung mga estudyante na nakakuha ng scores below 15.2, ito yung mga estudyante na hindi nag-perform well in the said examination. Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So please make sure to I will be sending two activities, no, activity sheets. The other one is FDT plus the graphical representation. The second activity would be this one, no, the ungrouped data. Ungrouped data lang muna tayo. Okay. Meeting. Okay. For a while, children. Okay, and group and then group. Okay. Sige lang. Hmm, group data. Okay. Sige. I will be, ano na lang, no? Sorry. Based on my activity sheet na ginawa pala, dalawa. So, bali, ungroup na pala siya at saka group. So, meaning to say, for this particular activity, hindi ko muna ito ipopost. Ipopost ko yung activity about mean after natin ma-discuss yung group data. So, yung ipopost ko lang na activity ay isa lang muna, yung FDT with graphical representation. Okay, klaro ba estudyante? Mga estudyante? Klaro?
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Madam, yes, sir.
Okay, so isa lang muna yung ipopost ko. So, very good naman. Okay, so I will now stop my presentation. Any questions so far, children?
Doon po, sir, sa naging quiz natin, I have sent you my
Yes, dear.
message, sir. Na yung question ko po kasi, nireview ko kasi ulit yung presentation natin last. Tapos, nakalagay doon is yung class size, doon binabase yung ilan yung gagawin mo, yung nasa row. So, yun. Akala ko po kasi, sir, na yun, doon binibase yung natin, yung class size na gagawin natin na yung computation natin, sir.
Hmm. What are you referring? You're referring to?
To the class size po, sir, yung ginamit namin kasi ginamit ko po kasi, sir, is hindi na ako nag-base doon sa class size na result kasi na masyadong maliit po, sir. So, paano yun? Isang group lang yung gagawin ko, di ba, sir?
You are referring to a class size because the value is 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sige, anyway, kung ano yung nagiging sagot ninyo, kasi na-submit naman yun, the same yung sinabi ko sa kabilang section that we will be right after siguro, I will discuss your activity. So, bali next meeting, before tayo mag-continue, i-check ko man yun, I will discuss it. Ha, okay?
Okay po, sir.
Opo, sir.
Okay, thank you, dear. Sige. Any more concern?
Sa I have a
Sir, yung result po ng quiz natin, lumabas na po.
Oo, kailangan yung sa result ng inyong quiz, meron pa akong gina-manual, no? Kasi yung iba talaga kailangan ko talagang i-check yung spelling, meron akong i-consider pa. Yung iba, hindi ko pa siya na-return, pero na-check ko na.
Okay po, sir. Thank you po.
Okay, you're welcome. Yes, Elmer.
Excuse me.
sir, I have a question.
Yes, Elmer.
Sir, yung activity namin, yung activity namin sir, yung by group sir, is mag-base kami sir sa yung first outline na sir.
Basta Elmer ha, kaya nawawala ka. Ano again? Yung activity ninyo sa,
Yung by group kami sir.
yung group
Oral
activity or yung class reporting?
Yes sir,
Yun,
yung class reporting
Sir.
by
Ay, sige, what about it, Elmer?
yung app namin sir, are we going to base on the course outline na send mo sir?
Yes, dear. Please use our course outline for you to be guided.
Okay sir.
Okay. Any more
Tapos
concern?
yung
Yes. Yes, dear.
may mga week kasi, may duration kasi sir, di ba? Tapos yung group namin is 1 to, I think 9.
No. Kuan lang. Do
1
not
to
mind
9.
with the weeks, children. I do not mind with the length of time because actually that is really required for us to state talaga no kung ano yung length of time. But do not worry about it, no. Just make sure that yung content yung nalagay doon sa course outline ay makover ninyo regardless of the length of time. Do not worry.
Okay sir. Thank you sir.
Okay. You're welcome. Any more concern?
Sir, itong sa quiz, sir ba?
Hmm.
How about atong kanang labtan og time, sir?
Do not worry. Do not worry. Meron akong backup, meron akong pa-backup dyan. Don't worry. That
Yes,
is
sir.
why, hindi talaga ako nag-imik dyan because, yun nga, very common problem. But I have backup plans, no? Masyashock na lang kayo na meron pala kayong result. And anyway, meron kasi siyang nakatagong backup, somewhat like that. Pero parang isang backup lang siya. So kaya talaga next time kailangan we really have to do it in a proper way. Okay. Sige, anyway, mag-change na naman tayo ng protocol when it comes to quizzes. We'll try another strategy na naman and then we do it. Okay. Sige. Any more concern? Wala na?
Wala na siguro, sir.
Okay, so since you don't have any questions, I will now stop the recording.